Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 38 of my ongoing Battle Brothers series. As you can see, we're back in the town of Weedmark. I figure we're pretty much done with New Farn and Holschlag, at least for the time being. We bought about all of the warbows we're ever going to need, so I think it's time to focus on picking up some more contracts and upgrading our armor. There's a group of commanders standing around Count Balin von Ravenholt. There's also a man's head on the desk before them. Count Balin looks at you. A detachment of soldiers made contact with greenskins west of here. They lost, if you couldn't tell. They also took prisoners, and if that's true, I have a keen interest in getting those men back. I think you're the perfect man for the job, Sellsword. So what say you? Well, the pay is certainly generous enough, especially for a 2-skull contract. So I think we'll take it on. I accept this contract. Now let's see if we can go rescue those prisoners. We've never done this particular contract, but I think it's fairly straightforward. I'll just follow the road out to this battle site here. Looking for tracks here would be like finding a needle in a haystack of dismembered corpses. Oswald the Reaver puts his hand to hips and laughs incredulously. Someone survived this shit show, much less saw fit to take prisoners? You shrug and order the Retcon Raiders to start searching for clues. A man with a pitchfork comes yonder, wheeling the fork stake-side into the earth as he tent-poles himself up a hill. He yells at you to approach, which you slowly do. The man grins as you come near. You're looking for the prisoners, ain't ya? He turns broom straw between teeth and where teeth should be. He points. There be tracks in that yonder mud patch. Don't know why the savages left signs of their comings and goings, but I guess that's why they call them savages, huh? You thank the farmer for his help and, just as he said, soon find tracks leading away from the battlefield. The Retcon Raiders should follow them to find the prisoners. Okay, again, seems straightforward enough. We'll just follow... Oh, and there we go. Looks like a greenskin horde. Orc young, orc berserkers, and goblin ambushers. They're 16 strong, but otherwise it sounds like an easy enough battle. Let's go ahead and get our equipment set here real quick. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh wait, let's swap Bunny out to one of the new war bows. We have almost enough for everyone. For now, we'll have to rotate war bows as appropriate. Now let's get in there. Okay, this looks straightforward enough. Though it is a bit odd that their ambushers are right up in their front row. Well, I'm certainly not going to complain. That orc young in front is a tempting target, so let's go ahead and start with him. Alessandro lands 2 quick hits. And Wajtek finishes him off. Then he can use his adrenaline to fire off an aim shot at the ambushers, and he kills one of them too. We're definitely off to a good start here. Fox will take another shot at an ambusher. But no luck this time. And I guess Bunny will stick with an easier target. And here comes the rest of the horde. I guess, although these are individually easy targets, our biggest risk is being overwhelmed. We've got a lot of soft and squishy targets in our back row. So we definitely can't let these guys wrap around our north or south end. We also have to watch out for those berserkers, especially the ones with great weapons. So while I'd love to prioritize the ambushers, we're going to need to focus fire on some of those berserkers on the north end next turn. Speaking of which, I've got nothing else to do here, so now we're into round 2. Those ambushers are definitely focusing their fire on Roderick. He must have a slightly lower range defense than most of the other frontliners. As long as he's not getting hit, I guess it's not a problem. Fox doles out a pierced shoulder, followed by a pierced hand. Bunny follows up by sinking an arrow into the berserker's leg, and then finishes him off. That's one down, just 2 more to go. Woe deals out a bleeding injury to the orc berserker on our front line. Alessandro manages to land a hit on the orc with the man-splitter. And here come the orc young. Plus those berserkers are definitely circling around our north end. Looks like Rondus just got stunned. Wajtek deals out a piercing chest wound to the first orc berserker to pass our front lines. And here comes the man-splitter. They definitely pose a very real and immediate danger to our back line. But fortunately they've spent this turn maneuvering, so next turn we should be able to kill at least one of them with more sustained arrow fire. Roderick tears off an orc berserker's armor with his first swipe, then shreds his arm apart with the second swing. Oswald the Reaver starts trimming down some armor. I guess we'll move Reinhard to block these berserkers. It's a bit of a dangerous move, but he really needs to stop them from advancing into our more vulnerable soldiers. Janos will switch off to his hammer, and he handily crushes the bleeding berserker in front of him. Kasserin will move up to keep these orcs contained. Then I think he'll dole out a quick dagger strike and go on the defensive. There's a pierced leg, not bad. And now let's get him into shield wall. And we're pretty much done for the turn, so... looks like Janos just got stunned. That's annoying. Sergeant Baggins fires off a quick hand injury. And, ooh, that's not good positioning there. We've got some more incoming fire from those ambushers, but at this point they have to fire past their own men. Oh. And, of course, they still manage to poison Roderick. Well, that's just bad luck. Alright, let's take out these berserkers. We've got more orcs engaging our front line. Janos is stunned again. They're pretty consistently keeping him locked down. Alessandro starts firing through the ranks. Drops an orc young. I guess he'll focus on the orcs on our line. But he doesn't land any more hits. Woe doles out a bleeding injury to the orc with the man-splitter. Then follows up with another quick dagger strike. Wajtek starts firing on this berserker, threatening our sergeant. Bunny softens up the orcs on our line. And even poisoned, Roderick is still deftly dodging most of the attacks leveled against him. That armored berserker is definitely tougher than I'm used to. He might actually manage to injure someone before we can kill him. Speaking of injury, Roderick just doled out another serious arm wound, but took a light hit in return. Definitely nothing to worry about. Rondus moves up and readies his greatsword, then plunges it through the 2 orcs in front of Roderick, killing them both. Nicely done. Oswald is up next, so... let's just move him up in front of Roderick. Looks like he broke the morale on that orc young, so we'll keep advancing past him. Let's see if we can roust those ambushers. Reinhard takes on the orc with the man-splitter. Hits him again, though, not for much damage. Kasserin keeps whittling away at the orc berserker on our south line, too. We're definitely going to drop these guys, it's just taking more effort than I'd like. Roderick moves up to engage the fleeing orc. He'll get a free shot once that guy tries to run. And round 4. Looks like the ambushers are trying to flee. No, they're just repositioning. Okay, 2 of the ambushers repositioned. One of them held his ground, and an orc young is also throwing javelins at us. Looks like Bunny just took a nasty hit. There we go. Woe manages to dispatch that Orc Berserker with the Man Splitter, freeing up most of our north line. Our archers get a chance to start doling out some hits. Still whittling away at that Orc Berserker on our south line. Fox manages to sink an arrow through the leg of one of the remaining ambushers. And Bunny manages to finish him off. Very nice. Henry's still facing off against that armored berserker on our south line. Ah, but his first strike breaks its morale. And his second strike peels off the rest of its armor. At this point, it looks like we've pretty much won. We've got 2 active Orc Young and 2 active ambushers, but that's about it. Reinhardt will move up, and looks like he already broke that Orc's morale. Janos fractures the Orc's skull, then doles out another hit with his dagger as well. Rondis moves up towards the javelin-throwing Orc, but can't land a hit. And Roderick peels off half the armor on the Orc Young he's engaged with. And peels off the rest of his armor with another quick dagger strike. Ah, there we go. Looks like Roderick cut down that Orc Young while he was trying to flee. And who got that kill? Kazarin finished off the Berserker. Woe doles out a bleeding injury on the broken Orc on our north line. And the archers do have a couple of open shots here, so let's see if we can sneak in a few more arrows. Fox finishes off the Orc Young. That just leaves us with the javelin-throwing Orc here, who now has a pierced hand injury, and the ambusher over there. Oh, plus one more ambusher who's probably one step away from the edge of the map at this point. Bunny finishes off the last Orc Young. That just leaves us with this one ambusher over here, but unfortunately he's sandwiched between that tree and Oswald the Reaver. So it's going to be hard to pick out any clear shots. We'll just start swarming our frontliners around him. He managed to land one last defiant hit against Roderick for 1 damage. Good for him. And now we get the chance to hit him back. Oh, that was quick. Oswald finishes off the last ambusher engaged with our line. And that just leaves the guy who's fleeing. I don't think we'll even be able to get visual on him. Let's just push forward to the end of the round, and I'm sure he'll be gone. Yeah, we're done. Okay, looks like we've got another level up. Bunny here just hit level 11. Congratulations. And looks like she's also pulled MVP, so double congratulations. And the loot's not great, but those Orc weapons will net us at least a few hundred gold. So we'll grab everything and get back to town to turn in this contract. The Greenskins have been dealt with. Now you and your men start picking through their abandoned camp. You immediately hear people screaming from a tent. Mark Richards, the pusillanimous, opens the flap to see a goblin waving a hot iron in front of a group of huddled, naked men. The sellsword cuts the creature's head off in a single swipe before it can even realize the reversal in its fortunes. The prisoners cry out, thanking you for the rescue. Your employer, Count Balin von Ravenholt, should be most pleased that at least some of his men will be coming home. We have what we came for. Time to return to Weedmark. Well, since it's right over here, let's just go ahead and zip down the road, turn in this contract, and then we'll take a quick break while I look for another fight or two. Count Balin von Ravenholt is pacing his room, occasionally looking out his window. Down below, the prisoners are being taken care of. He shakes his head. I really did not think a single one of them poor souls would return. You did good, Sellsword. Well, looks like we get a big stack of coins, and that warm fuzzy feeling that comes with doing a good deed. Not a bad combination. Now let's unload this excess loot here. Then we'll poke around for another contract or two. You find a kid wearing a rather opulent chain around his neck. It's so heavy that his head is bent forward, but that minor struggle doesn't wipe the mile-wide grin off his face. Bunny pushes the kid down and takes the necklace. Where did you get this? The kid cries out, trying to grab his treasure back, but he's about 3 feet and a good jump too short. Hey, that's mine! Give it back! Another kid comes over, flashing a ring so large it's pinching 2 fingers at once. Alright, that's enough. The company fans out and eventually finds a dead merchant in some tall grass beside a tree line. His face is purpled and jagged with broken bones. It appears he has been stoned to death. A group of about 40 or 50 youngsters appear from the tree line, each juggling a stone in hand. Their leader, a little runt with red hair and sleeves of tattoos, asks what you want. You tell him that you'll be taking the merchant's goods. The leader laughs. Oi, is that so? I'll give you 10 seconds to rethink that choice. Oi, that I will, mister. There's obviously a risk here. I'm assuming we'll take a few minor injuries if we decide to take these brats on, but I'm loath to leave them with their ill-gotten gains. Let's go ahead and take our chances. Despite the miniature military force arrayed before you, the goods are ordered to be taken. The little tyke in charge of this operation screams a war cry, more dying cat than diving hawk. Take them down! Throw! 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 On his command, the mob of children start hurling stones from the tree line. The sellswords band together, holding shields up in a formation akin to a tortoise, and slowly move forward. It's a strange effort, like a shell game artist sliding his cup over the ball, but the company manages to grab the merchant's goods and slide away out of the field, all the while being pelted from every which way. The little leader kid shakes his fist at you. You give him the finger and start back onto the path where you take a good look at the merchant's goods. Roderick de Orkmortar stares at the rewards while rubbing a welt on his forehead. Goddamn, man, I've seen armies not nearly so fierce. I weep for the future men who have to cross swords with those lads and lasses. A lot of light wounds. Wojtek has some fractured ribs, and Dominic suffered a ripped ear. We got a little bit of treasure from it, but honestly, they made it sound like it was going to be a lot heftier of a haul than that. A little disappointed, but at least we didn't give those kids the satisfaction of watching us run away. Well, let's rearrange our line a little bit, poke around town to see if we can find another contract, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. Unfortunately, it looks like Gronenberg is not in great shape right now, so we're headed up to Firthwacht instead. But on the way, we got ambushed by this little pack of direwolves, so I figured we'd mop the floor with them real quick. Now, we've fought these guys relatively recently. You know how simple this fight is likely to be. We'll probably be done and on our way within 3-4 minutes. Though I do see one frenzied direwolf mixed in there. That's a more powerful variant of the normal direwolf. Still not anticipating any real difficulties here, though. Let's go ahead and soften these guys up with some sustained arrow fire. Mark just took off the frenzied direwolf's ear. Roderick will switch off to his war brand. And he lashes one of the direwolves to the brink of death. Will leave that wolf to Roderick and step up to engage the frenzied direwolf. But he can't land a hit. Reinhard engages the wolf on our north side, doles out a couple of serious injuries. And Kazarin will... I guess we could move him up to contain the rest of the direwolves. Rondus will move up with him. Looks like he just broke the morale on that frenzied direwolf. Janos steps in and whiffs with the great swing. That's a disappointment. Alright, let's see what the wolf pack does. Nothing significant. I'm seeing some minor armor and shield hits, but that's about it. Alright, archers, do your thing. I'll actually have to maneuver them a little to sneak off a few shots through our ranks. There we go. Fox doles out a piercing leg wound. Potato steps up and finishes off the Pax Alpha. I put him too close to attack this one next to Roderick, so he'll just keep maneuvering. Mark steps up and sinks an arrow into another wolf. Henry manages to finish off the wolf on our south side. Then I guess he'll kill the one that Roderick was fighting. Sorry, Roderick. And speaking of Roderick, let's bring him up. Ooh, he steps in and panics 3 wolves at once. Now will leapfrog Roderick and lock down one of the last unbroken wolves. Kazarin keeps wearing down that same wolf. Reinhard keeps the other wolf locked down as well. Rondus just starts trimming away at the broken wolves before they can flee. Janos finishes off one of the fleeing wolves with one great swing, then snaps another wolf's bones. And round 3. Reinhard takes a couple of minor armor hits. Buddy moves up, puts an arrow through a wolf's shoulder. Fox puts an arrow through a different wolf's side. Potato manages to put down the last wolf that was actually trying to fight back. And Mark doles out another shoulder wound. At this point, it's really just cleanup. Henry puts another wolf down. 2 wolves. And Vlad finishes off the last of them. Nicely done, boys. Sergeant Baggins is the undisputed MVP, and we got a big pile of pelts. So let's continue on our way to Firthwacht and see what they have to offer us. Well, it turned out that Firthwacht didn't have a lot to offer either, so I decided we'd go ahead and start heading north to check out some of the other towns closer to Orc territory. On the way, this group of Goblin Wolf Riders started pursuing us, and since there was no chance we were going to outrun them with a full 20-man company, I decided we'd go ahead and turn around to meet them head-on. So let's see if we can take these guys out without too much trouble. The main thing we need to make sure we do here is cover our flanks. That'll keep half their number busy, rotating around our squad instead of actually moving in to attack us. Though we do also have a good number of them moving in to lock down our front lines. We'll just have to alternate between killing anyone who gets too close and fending off the remaining members of their pack. Alright, archers, let's see if we can dole out a few hits here. Alessandro puts an arrow through one of the goblin's legs. Wojtek finishes off the rider. Potato manages to put an arrow through another rider's shoulder. Mark finishes off a wolf, then puts an arrow through a goblin's neck and face. Baggins finishes off a wolf, then the rider. I Got moves up to support Janos. Doles out a nasty, disemboweling blow. Reinhardt trims down his own foe. And Gilraen drops a wolf, followed quickly by its rider. Nicely done. That's 3 wolf riders we've dropped so far. And it looks like we broke the morale of the one sandwiched between Janos and I Got. So let's just move Janos up to support Reinhardt. Unfortunately, he just can't land the hit. That did leave Janos in a bit of a vulnerable position, but I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, there they are going right after him. Fortunately, his defensive skills and his armor are both heavy enough that he can pretty easily hold off against multiple foes at once, even when one of them does have a height advantage. Belfontaine, on the other hand, might be in trouble. He's being flanked by a pair of wolf riders. We'll definitely have to do something about that. Rowan's in a bit of trouble here, too. Ooh, but he lands a solid hit, piercing that goblin's shoulder with his crossbow. Belfontaine manages to finish off the badly wounded rider, but misses the wolf. Henry drops the wolf threatening him, then quickly spins the banner and finishes off the rider as well. Rondis could either support Gilraen or I Got. I think Gilraen's probably fine, so let's move up to join I Got here. Rondis draws his greatsword and slices the goblin wolf rider's face open. I Got quickly capitalizes on the distraction, kills the rider's wolf. Reinhardt continues wailing on his opponent, doles out a pierced side. Gilraen holds his wolf rider at bay. Janos prepares a great swing, manages to catch a wolf with the attack, then finishes off the dismounted rider. Fortunately, with no rider to guide it, that wolf on the north side is nowhere near as much of a threat as it used to be. Looks like some of the wolf riders are starting to flee now, too. Alright, we've pretty much won this fight. We can't let our guard down just yet, because the engaged wolf riders will continue fighting, but for the most part, this fight's over. There we go. Alessandro drops a wolf on our north side. Wajtek takes a pot shot at the wolf rider fleeing on our north, but doesn't land the hit. Potato manages to drop the rider and its wolf on our south side. And Mark just finished off another wolf on our north side. And Belfontaine finishes off the last opponent threatening him. That frees up Reinhardt to lock down another wolf rider. I Got manages to clear the last goblin on our line, so that frees up the whole squad to converge upon the one fleeing wolf rider. I guess technically there's another fleeing wolf rider, but he's so far away at this point we're never going to catch up with him. Let's go ahead and run them down. At the very least, we can finish off this guy. Reinhardt took a couple of minor armor hits there, nothing to worry about. We're probably not going to be able to get any hits in this turn. But at the very least, we can move everyone close enough that they can slaughter this wolf rider next turn. Actually, I may have spoken too soon. It looks like Janos will be able to get off one swing when he steps in. I just need to make sure I keep that space clear for him. And here we go. Well, looks like he crushed the wolf and the rider with one swing. Sorry, Janos. The game only counts that as one kill. And it looks like a bunch of mediocre loot, but we'll grab everything. And we'll continue further to the north. If we can't find another contract soon, I'll just start scrounging around for another orc stronghold. We do still need to finish off that ambition. Hey, RetconRaider here. It looks like it was another pretty straightforward episode today. We finished off a contract, fended off a pack of bloodthirsty urchins, and slaughtered a few wandering monsters. Nothing particularly noteworthy, but at least it netted the raiders some more experience points, and a modest amount of loot. My initial plan was to set up camp near Gronenfest for a while, since that town has both a weaponsmith and an armorsmith. If we could have completed contracts there for a while, we could have built up enough of a discount to start stocking up on top-tier armor and weaponry. Unfortunately, it looks like that plan fell through pretty quickly. While we were off visiting Newfarn and Holschlag, Gronenfest must have been attacked repeatedly, because most of the structures in and around the city have already been destroyed. Since they didn't have much to offer us, I decided it was best to just move on. Like I said earlier, my new plan is to just start passing through towns looking for lucrative contracts, while also keeping my eye out for orc strongholds. We're far enough along in this invasion that we should start seeing particularly dangerous contracts soon. Breaking sieges, raiding orc war camps, and possibly even hunting down orc warlords. It's dangerous work, but it's also the sort of contracts that will help us quickly bring this invasion to an end. Hopefully before we lose any more cities. So brace yourselves, raiders. We've still got a lot more tough fights ahead of us. This is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website or the fan-run wiki. Links are in the description.